Hey guys, welcome back to Fin Scales and Fluffy Tails, and today I am going to be doing some more stuff with this 10-gallon, and by that I mean adding more substrate. I don't have any more plants for it yet, but that's because I was waiting to get this bag of substrate in, which is right over here. This is what I bought for the 10-gallon tank, Fluval Stratum. Now this is an 8-pound bag. Originally, I bought a 4-pound bag, and I didn't think that that was enough because I will have to be actually like planting plants into it, so there has to be enough substrate to actually hold the plants in place. So that's what I will be doing today, is basically just adding more substrate to this tank. Once I get the substrate put in, probably sometime next week, I will be ordering actual plants for this tank, and I will be making another video on, me putting them in and like placing them in the tank. And let's see, so over here on this table we have the Fluval Stratum, which I will have to take to the kitchen and rinse slightly before putting it in the tank, because it says you're not supposed to rinse it too much, but I did want to rinse it a little bit. This stuff is pretty dirty because it's like aquarium soil. So probably what I'll do is I'll take out most of the stuff from this tank, which will include the driftwood and the plants I have in there already. So those will be coming out before I add the new substrate. And something else I'm doing over here is I am recharging these two water softener pillows. I had one in my 10-gallon and one in my 20, and they only work for 48 hours, and then you have to recharge them. So after they soak for 2 hours, they will be recharged. However, I have to go to work soon, so they'll probably be left here all day, which is totally fine. You're actually supposed to store them in the salt solution water, but all you need to do to recharge them is dissolve 3 tablespoons of aquarium salt into 7 ounces of water. Now I dissolved 6 tablespoons of aquarium salt into 14 ounces of water because I'm recharging both at the same time. So I figured that's what I would do, and I would only have to use 1 container. So hopefully that still works. I figured it would work because, that's how pretty much everything works as far as like baking. You just kind of double everything as to what you need done. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, is just adding more substrate to the 10-gallon. So let's get started. Okay, so I have taken everything out of the tank. Here it sits. Now normally I wouldn't do this. Once everything is in the tank, I will not be probably like ever taking this stuff out most of the time. But for putting the substrate in, I decided that it would be best to take it out. Here is the substrate I have. It is all rinsed and everything. I decided to add it one at a time, like 1 bowl full at a time, because I'm not sure exactly how much I'm gonna need. I doubt I will use the entire 8-pound bag. I probably should have bought an 8-pound bag to begin with, but I thought 4 pounds was a lot and that it would be fine. But I'm pretty sure I need just a bit more. So we'll start out with this bowl full. Oh no. Okay. Not gonna work. Let's see. Okay, move this back a little bit. Okay. Now we will try to put it in. Okay. And I realized I had to remove the light from this tank to be able to fit this container in. So we'll just put this in and gently put the substrate into the tank. Trying to do this one-handed is pretty hard, but I guess I need to practice. Okay, so there we go. It's gonna be pretty dirty. That's pretty normal. I'll probably just take my hand and try to smooth it out a little bit, which you can't really see anything. The water is pretty dirty, which the dirtiness will go away. That's what happened the first time, but I'm gonna try to like make it as even as possible without disturbing it too much. Because it said you're not supposed to disturb it. So the water is pretty dark right now because of the silt, but the filter is running, so it will clear that up in a little bit. And I'm probably gonna add one more scoop to this at least to make sure that I have enough substrate in there to actually plant the plants. And the main reason I'm charging up these 2 water softener pillows is because before I add plants into this tank, I need to fill it up the rest of the way, and I still need something to soften the rest of the tap water that I put in here. I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna do this, like once I actually get the shrimp. I have a few ideas. I will probably either buy water from the pet store or buy distilled water from the store to like top off the tank when it needs it, or do small water changes, because you're not really supposed to do large water changes in shrimp tanks, mainly because shrimp are too sensitive to water parameters to do a ton of water changes all the time. So that's kind of my plan for right now. I'm gonna go ahead and put some more substrate in this tank, and I'll see you guys when that's done. Okay, so this is what the tank looks like now. It's still very cloudy because of the silt from the dirt that I put in. I think that is enough, so I don't think I should have to put in any more substrate, that is. But it's kind of uneven, mainly because I couldn't really see what I was doing, and it's so dirty you can't really see the bottom. So probably once the tank clears up, I will smooth out the substrate to make it look like more even so I can actually see how much is on the bottom, but that should be enough. I used about half the bag of the 8-pound bag that I bought. So what I would suggest is, if you guys are starting a 10-gallon planted tank, an 8-pound bag of Fluval Stratum substrate should be enough to cover the bottom, like if you use the whole thing, which you probably should. 4 pounds just didn't seem to cut it for me. It just didn't seem like enough substrate to actually grow plants in. So I kind of tried to put everything back in the way it was, but I couldn't really see what I was doing because the water's so cloudy. But in a few hours, it'll go back to normal, and then probably at some point tonight or maybe even tomorrow, I will fill up the rest of this tank after these 2 pillows are done recharging, because I want to make sure that the water stays at a good general hardness and isn't too hard. You definitely have to be careful of that with shrimp. So I'm not sure if I'm going to show you guys filling up the tank, because that's not really anything exciting. This video wasn't really that exciting, but I mean, this is what a shrimp tank is, and I'm taking it super slow this time to make sure that everything's right. Like 2 days after I fill the tank and put the pillow in, I'll be testing the water to make sure that the parameters are okay, and then I will probably buy the plants next week and add and add the heater back into this tank, because there's no heater in there right now. The water is pretty cold, but again, it doesn't matter that the water's not heated because there's no fish in there. So when I order the plants, I will probably also add the heater back into the tank to start getting it ready and continue like testing the water to make sure that the parameters are staying at good levels, because like I said, I completely started over with this tank. So anyway, that is it for this video. If you want to continue seeing the progress of my shrimp tank, definitely subscribe. You can also follow Fin Scales and Fluffy Tails on Instagram. And Pascal, my axolotl, has her own Instagram that will be linked down in the description. Thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you on the next one.